Good morning, I'm Gary DeWaal, and this is Bridging the Week for April 1st through 5th, and today is April 8th, 2019. The Securities and Exchange Commission's FinHub group issued guidance last week providing a checklist of characteristics to help determine whether a crypto asset may constitute a security or not. Contemporaneously, the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance published a no-action letter to an air charter service company that intends to issue a stablecoin-type crypto asset to serve as a means of payment for booking plane use through a permissioned blockchain relying on smart contract technology. Staff said the token did not need to be registered as a security. It seems a long time since I spent a full week in Brooklyn, as I did last week. So I can continue to enjoy the borough where I live, where all is happening these days in these early days of spring. Let's get started. The SEC Strategic Hub for Innovation and Financial Technology issued guidance last week on what characteristics a crypto asset might have that can make it more likely to be deemed an investment contract and thus a security under U.S. securities laws. FinHub noted that these characteristics pertain not solely to the quote-unquote form and terms of the digital asset itself, but, quote, the means in which it is offered, sold, or resold, which includes secondary market sales, end of quote. Crypto assets that are securities must be registered under the applicable securities law unless qualified for an exemption and require disclosures of certain information to investors. In providing its analysis, FinHub utilized the three prongs of what it views a Howey test to determine if an instrument was an investment contract, i.e., an investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profits through efforts of others, and keyed in on this last prong. Generally, FinHub wrote, purchasers would more likely be relying on the efforts of others if, in connection with a crypto asset, a promoter, sponsor, or other third party, or an affiliated group of third parties, had a principal role in developing the crypto asset or the network or project with which it is associated, or creates or supports a market or the price of the digital asset. This would be particularly relevant, said FinHub, where a network is still in development and not fully functional, and a promoter or equivalent person or persons, quote, promise further developmental efforts in order for the digital asset to attain or grow in value, end of quote. Additionally, where crypto asset purchasers would reasonably expect a promoter or affiliated persons for its own benefit or their own benefit to undertake efforts to enhance the value of a digital asset or the network or project, the third prong of the Howey test is more likely satisfied, claimed FinHub. FinHub indicated that investors' expectations of profit could arise from their right to share in income or profits generated by a network or project or from capital appreciation of the crypto asset. A reasonable expectation of profit would more likely exist where a digital asset is traded on a secondary market, the crypto asset is offered broadly, and a digital asset is promoted as an investment. Contrariwise, FinHub noted that certain characteristics would suggest that there is less likely a reasonable expectation of profits if present. These would include, among other factors, that the relevant network and crypto assets are fully developed and operational, there is a low likelihood of appreciation of value of the crypto assets, and that for digital assets referenced as virtual currencies, payment can be made with a cryptocurrency without first converting it to another digital asset or fiat currency. Also relevant would be whether the crypto asset is marketed in a manner that emphasizes its functionality as opposed to the potential for appreciation. FinHub observed that the characteristics that might render a crypto asset an investment contract at one point in time should be reevaluated at later times, as changes in characteristics might alter the classification of the digital asset. Contemporaneously with FinHub issuing its guidance, the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance indicated it would not recommend enforcement action against Turnkey Jet Inc. for issuing a digital asset to facilitate sales of air charter services without registering the token as a security under applicable law. The SEC's advice to turnkeys of limited practical use to others, however, because of the firm's narrow proposed token offering, where tokens would be usable solely on a tightly controlled permission blockchain application run by Turnkey. Separately, Jitesh Thacker was acquitted of the criminal charge of conspiracy to commit spoofing during his criminal trial last week related to his role in the spoofing activities of Navinda Sarao, who pleaded guilty to criminal charges in November 2018. 2 pending counts of aiding and abetting spoofing against Mr. Thacker are scheduled to be considered by a jury this week after the presiding judge, the Honorable Robert Gettleman of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, referred to the government's overall action as resting on a quote-unquote thin case, according to numerous published reports. Mr. Thacker was named in a criminal action by the Department of Justice and a civil action by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission for purportedly developing back-of-the-book software that was used by Mr. Sarao to effectuate his spoofing activities. In court papers, Mr. Thacker claimed that he never was told by Mr. Sarao the purpose of his software request, but in any case, he did not develop the actual software. He assigned the task to other programmers at his company, Edge Financial Technologies, Inc. After the court's dismissal of the conspiracy count against Mr. Thacker, it seems less likely that the jury evaluating Mr. Thacker's remaining aiding and abetting charges will find beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Thacker knew of the purpose of the software requested by Mr. Sarao used to effectuate his spoofing activities. However, we should know a lot more by next week. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Bridging the Week. As always, there's more information in each article and more articles on the article version of Bridging the Week on the website at www.bridgingtheweek.com. Check it out. I'm Gary DeWaal. Have a great week, and until the next edition of Bridging the Week, ciao.